Hi, welcome to another edition of the Medallion Minute. I'm Michael Heston, and a little later, Jonathan Christopherson will be on as well. Today we're going to talk to you about etiquette, both at the driving range and in bunkers on the golf course. We notice a lot of times on the driving range, people and their divot patterns are hindering our growth of the range tee, also fellow members' enjoyment of the range tee. If you look at this first pattern that we see a lot, it's a square. It's a big square that they made with their divots. It's eaten up all the grass in between. They think this is helpful, but this actually takes the longest to regrow. The superintendent has to reseed this, and it'll take all season for this area to regrow. Another pattern we see is scattered divots. You can see a divot here, 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 all over. What it's done is it's taken up all this space on the tee that someone can't come and practice. Very rarely do we see someone then want to put their ball here to practice. The next person usually comes back here to a fresh space. What you want to do is you want to take your divots in lines with grass in between those lines. You notice here where I've been practicing, I have a straight line with my divots, some grass, about a divot's worth, and then another straight line. What this does is allow the grass to grow inwards along with the seed growing upwards. So this will regrow faster than the square, but it's also more usage on our tee. There's less usage on our tee doing it this way than the scattered divots. You notice when we set up here, I'll take my first swing, and my next swing I'll put the ball right behind this divot, and I'll continue to work myself back in a straight line. This will help save our tee box. The last thing that we've noticed as an etiquette thing is that don't take phone calls on the practice center. There's a lot of members that'll be out here practicing wanting to work on their golf games, and it's very distracting when you're on your cell phone taking phone calls. You are allowed to text out here, but please, if you have to make a phone call, please go around the clubhouse or inside the clubhouse to make that phone call. Also, the same goes for when you're talking to other members. Please remember to keep your voice level down so it's not distracting anyone while they're trying to practice. Now we're going to throw it over to Jonathan, who's going to be in the bunkers. He's going to talk to you about etiquette there.
Thank you, Michael. Like you said, we're going to talk about bunkers and the correct etiquette, making sure we keep them beautiful for yourselves and your fellow members. This has really got three components. First off, we have to get into the bunker. We've got to play our shot and properly rake it. And then once we get out, there's a couple of other things we need to do before we leave the area. So first things first, we need to find a good spot to enter into the bunker. You want to find a place that's very shallow, and it's not one of those very steep faces. So if you came up here, and if I decided to enter into the bunker on this steep face, my first step is going to leave a very big foot mark. This does a couple of different things. First off, it takes a lot longer to rake. You have to move a lot more sand and takes a lot more effort on your part. Secondly, it takes a lot of that sand away from the face of the bunker, making them less playable and causes a lot of extra work to repair that area. So like I said, we want to find a very shallow area. My golf ball is just right inside here, so I've got a point that I'm entering that's very close to my golf ball and very shallow. I'm going to bring the rake in with me. That way I save a few minutes of pace. Place it down next to my golf ball. And from here we can go through our pre-shot routine, dig in, and hit the shot. All right, now we got the raking to do. The biggest mistake we see while raking is people putting way too much effort into it. You don't need to use both hands and really dig the teeth into the ground and be pushing and pulling a lot of sand. It's a very light motion. You can do it one-handed, and you want to make sure that you're working away from you. You want to push all the sand away. If you bring a rake stroke back, you're going to create big piles in there, and we want to leave this surface as flat as possible. So if you're raking back towards you, I'm going to create a pile that I'm going to have to spread out eventually anyway. So you might as well just push everything forward. So when I start raking, I want to start at the point deepest in the bunker, probably the spot that I hit the shot, and start working back out towards the bunker. Now to save yourself some time, if you exit the bunker in the same area that you entered, you'll have just one set of footprints that you're raking. You don't have to go back and get your second exit point. So like I said, I came back up about the same spot that I entered in, always working away from me. Keep it nice and smooth. And now the bunker's ready for the next player to play in. So when you get out, you have to decide where you want to put the rake back down. You want to do this where you picked up the rake from. Our maintenance staff is out every morning making sure that the rakes are properly spaced around the bunkers near all the normal exit points. And that way they save you time and we don't have multiple rakes ending up in the same places. So once we've put our rake back, if you just grab your club, you want to knock all the excess sand off the bottom of your shoes. That way you're not making footprints on the greens and disrupting the putting surface for other players and maybe even yourself. So, like I said, if we keep track of our bunkers, make sure we follow these tips, keep it very nice and beautiful and playable for you, yourself, and your fellow members, as well as the different driving range techniques that Michael went over. Medallion would be a very beautiful place for you to enjoy your round of golf.